relationships with the natural world. Yeah, not sure if it made any sense then. That just kind of but yeah, so that's kind of where I am at the moment, is so I'm kind of in the study process while also trying to think about how I can manifest such a thing. Yeah, I think that's where I'm at. Thank you very much.
Awesome, thank you, Kate. Yeah, it's very exciting. I just want to, I've just started a recording because I forgot to say that at the beginning, but is everyone okay if we record just so Rachel can hear about your projects as well? Is everyone cool with that? Yeah, cool. Thank you, Kate. I'm just so excited, and yeah, I really hear you about the whole getting all these ideas and then actually just getting to like, whoa, I need to do all of these things, and then spreading yourself too thin that you just don't do anything. I really hear that. So yeah, it sounds like that there's so much, there's roots now that you're just like present with what really feels like you would want to follow through. And again, that's just like following your own rhythm and listening. I think that's amazing. So thank you for sharing that. That really resonated. Who else would like to share their passion heart project next? Cool.
So my project, which I was kind of really sort of full force forward before the lockdown, is I'm calling it the Flourish Project, and the idea came about because of me sort of having a really sort of bad breakdown and then trying to come out of that and be healthy, and me needing to find ways to recover and to try and find a better way of life, a better way of living, a kind of more heart-based, spiritual way of life. And I found that really difficult because when I was unwell, I wasn't able to work and like dependent on benefits, and I didn't have much money, and it was really hard for me to access anything that would enable me to do that. So I felt not only was I recovering and felt really kind of alone with everything, I couldn't afford to join in anything that would help my sort of esteem. And that was something that was always like really strongly in my mind, and I was like, this is unjust. I hate this. Why, when people need it the most, is there very little out there free? So yes, it'd been in the back of my mind for quite a while, and then I sort of kept thinking about it, and then the project kind of came from that, really. I suddenly thought, well, maybe I can start something. It doesn't necessarily have to be really big, but maybe I can kind of organise something that will allow that for other people that would be in the same situation as me, because not everyone's fortunate enough to still have an income, and some people can like manage a job and what they're going through, but not everyone can. As someone who's like really always suffered with mental health problems, I really wanted to kind of do something with that and help people that are really stuck in their sort of their cycle of poor mental health to kind of come out of the medical way of thinking, and to look at a more holistic approach to well-being. And obviously, like you guys with Soulshine, that kind of inspired me to sort of do this. So I've done some social enterprise training, which kind of 2/3 of the way through had to stop because of a lockdown, and because it was kind of, sort of weekly, it was managing to keep my motivation going. And it didn't if there's a break in anything, my confidence kind of goes from there very quickly down to there. That's just part of my makeup, and I know that, and I have to kind of try and be aware and manage that. But I think the biggest issue, and the thing that I was really concerned about, is before I kind of wanted to set all of this up, I needed to get a business bank account, and I wasn't able to do that before the lockdown. So then I wasn't able to apply for funding. So I'm kind of stuck in that sense. And then there was kind of this, oh, what do I do now? And I kind of felt like, well, is it right of me to do I just keep in contact with people and keep putting stuff on there if there's nothing to offer people at the moment? And then I kept thinking, oh, maybe I should be engaging more on there. But I hate listening to, like, putting myself forward. I'm not very good at marketing myself because I don't have enough confidence. So that has kind of stood in my way as well. So I kind of don't know where to go with it all. And I was kind of thinking, what do I really need? And my biggest thing is just my total lack of self-belief and lack of confidence. And I know that it would be much easier for me if I had someone who was working with me, someone who kind of could sort of help to boost me when I'm struggling. But I'm one of the things I'm really bad at is reaching out and asking for anyone to kind of help or support in any way, because I'm very aware of what I feel about myself is very negative. So I'm kind of really conscious that I don't want to be this like broken record of, oh, there she goes again. And so I really worry about that. And it kind of also, like you were saying, Amy, you sort of mentioned going with the rumbling with it. I kind of always feel like that Brené Brown thing, that vulnerable. It's like I live with that every day, that vulnerability. And I don't want it to kind of just always be a negative thing. I want it to be a positive thing. So that's one of the things I'm really conscious of. I don't want to like be in this group and just feel like I'm really hard work. And I do worry about that. But the project was for me to kind of set up some pilots of offering some taster sessions of different things and getting in contact with various groups of people that would really benefit from the stuff that I'm going to be offering. And I've really struggled with finding the right groups and getting people to engage with what's going to be offered. So that would be something that might really help me to kind of, maybe get some ideas of where I could go with that. Anyway, sorry for the negativity around myself.
No.
But that's me, I suppose.
Thank you, Teresa. And yeah, I hear what you're saying, and it resonated so much for me. And I can see lots of hands on hearts and hands going up. So yeah, I really hear that's a worry for you. And I just want to say straight away that doesn't exist in this group or with us. Like there, it doesn't. If you do have something that is holding you back, or you feel that you need a confidence boost, like it's okay to ask for help. And actually I feel really fortunate actually that I think all of us, I'm making an assumption, but know the language of Brené Brown and rumbling and celebrating vulnerability, and we celebrate that here. So hopefully this is a space where you could feel safe enough to really rumble with your vulnerability and celebrate it and feel like it's something that is it's an amazing quality. It's an amazing quality and experience, and we love that here. So hopefully that I hope it don't any of you feel that you if there's like a kind of a real kind of self-critical part of you saying, oh no, don't say that, or don't say that again, just question it and challenge it, because we love it here. We want to hear it all.
We really do, and I think that's the thing, because I totally hear what you're saying, and I think one of the issues is that the majority of society doesn't value that, does it? And and it is, we do often get the messages of, oh, yeah, don't say that again, or don't bring that up, because it's too much for people to cope with. This is not that space. This is something that this is what, like Aim said, this is what we're all about, basically. And we really do value, I value it so much, like the vulnerability, because it gives me permission to be more vulnerable as well. And I know that's something that I really want to drop more into. So yeah, hopefully throughout this time we'll find a way of it, for all of us, I think, you know, swapping from that kind of almost negative view on that to a more positive one of being courageous. And so, yeah, I mean, if it's possible in those times when you feel like and it's difficult to reach out, if you can sort of see it as the gift that you're giving to the rest of us, because in so many times it takes that first really brave person to say I'm struggling, everybody else says I'm struggling too. And so it happens all the time, literally. So if we can all reframe that, I think, to if we are having a difficult day, sometimes, you know, we don't have the bandwidth for it and we can't take it all in, but that's also okay, you know. So it's a whole new way of being, it really is. And I think that's what I'm really excited about exploring here with this group of you guys, because it isn't a normal way of being, but it is an amazing way, and it's far better. So I really look forward to exploring it and developing it. So thank you so much for your insight and your vulnerability, Teresa. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Teresa. Yeah, I think it's just and this is something that maybe we can talk about in a bit, but I just feel like there's, on Saturday for our Empowered Health, we were exploring like the masculine and feminine energies and how the ebb and flow of those things can change. So it's kind of like the creating or the receiving the ideas and the incubating and the nourishing the ideas, and then actually perhaps putting those ideas into more concrete things, more tangible things that then take logistical steps. And I think that there's so much, I've been sort of dabbling in different kind of logistical things of how to get your business set up, etc., etc. And I think that can be really helpful for a lot of people. But what I'm more interested in is like everything starts with you, with us. Everything starts with us. And if we're not emotionally, spiritually supported, then that's kind of, I think, a part of the blockage as well. As like, oh, you know, you sort of maybe this is just my obviously this is just my opinion and my perception, but I see like all the business strategies and entrepreneurship, I don't even know how you say that word, entrepreneurship is very like linear and like consistent, whereas actually what really interests me is like those kind of seasons of change, seasons of creation, seasons of rest, of planning, of, you know, so there's just like everything starts with us and our well-being. So that's kind of and yeah, like everyone's expressed different, that they're in different stages and feeling different energies, and I think that's kind of is a really delicious mixture of energies to have, and it's all welcome and it's all okay. Yes, that's what I need to say. So does anybody else want to share about their project?
Yeah, I will go. So yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's really nice to listen to everyone else's ideas first. Actually, it's lovely to be part of this group. And so my kind of ideas are around my work with children. So I've come from teaching. I stopped teaching I don't know now, a couple of years ago maybe, special needs children, and I now have got a forest school leader, I don't know, a certificate, whatever. I am a forest school leader, and I work at a forest school for 1 or 2 days a week, and I've been there for almost 2 years now. I was volunteering there for a long time whilst I was doing my training, which I signed up to as an individual after I left teaching, knowing that I wanted to go into that. and there's lots about the place where I work that I really love, and I have a deeper feeling that is this isn't the place that I kind of really want to, that I feel like I can grow and really be myself, which has been a really tough thing to recognize, because I've put in such a lot of kind of time and energy there, and now it's like, oh, actually I think it just isn't right. And just to so I've been going through an acceptance process of that really for quite a long time. When you know, I'm working with children and I love those beings, I love them, and to kind of imagine not continuing there, or not, I see that I have a choice of either, I can really go there and wait until things become available, wait for something to happen there, or I can just say, well, actually I'm kind of ready now, like I've got this energy and this passion inside me now, and I kind of don't want to wait for it to be recognized or okay. So there's different feelings around that really, and so I have a real fear of other people's judgments of me. And if I and I've been working with this quite a bit, and what's come up for me is that when I am fearful of another's judgment of myself, it's like somebody may be thinking like, oh, she's not good enough to do this, or she's not experienced enough to do this. And then I had this wonderful kind of insight on Sunday, where I looked at all the people, and I had lots of people coming around me that I was thinking, wow, when I see people doing their thing and like really engaged with their passion and putting it out there in whatever way, I'm like, wow, that's so inspired, and like, yes, this is what like my community really needs. Like, that's what I would love to see more of my community, people following their passion, just being unapologetically themselves, and this is it. And I was like, fuck, maybe I could be this, like I could actually be that. Maybe somebody would look at me or hear my words or see my work and be like, oh, that's cool, like that's great, and have a good feeling about it. So I mean, that's where I'm with that right now. Maybe next week I'll be like, oh fuck, I'm ready to pull again. But right now I kind of have a better understanding for myself around it, and I'm hopeful I can check back into that. And the other fear, so there's two fears that I met on with this about me, and the other one sits very snugly close next to it, is my own self-doubt, and that stems from, again, done a lot of work on this, of needing to feel validated by others, and in my life, from my family, I've never received that. I haven't received that validation and that kind of support and encouragement of the direction I'm going. It's always been like, whoa, you're going off piece there, love, like, you need to rein it back in, or we're really worried about you, you're not, you haven't got this in your life, and you haven't got this, and it's and I've been so kind of outwardly doing what I wanted to do, yet inwardly all of that is just kind of built up inside me. I know it's kind of built up bricks inside me, and so and again, this is like really recent kind of conversations with this, have thought about that, and actually I need to let go of feeling like I'm gonna feel validation from those people who I would have loved it from. Let go of that, and I need to fill up my pot of validation and love, like from myself, and also from the people who I choose to share with and to be with, which again, I'm really grateful for this group, and I think that's something that I can personally gain and can give to your little pots. and yeah, and just being around the kind of in the right tribe. So my work really is that I want to take my forest school and my kind of nature work, not just for children but adults too, out there. I want to start to, I had this idea of kind of offering one-to-one or one-to-two nature exploration kind of smaller forest school sessions with children, either even in their back gardens or taking them out and doing maybe like small sessions where we start with a check-in and then we do something creative and then we have a challenge and then we check out and we kind of recap of what we've seen and who we've explored and found in nature. And then which sounds like a very simple idea, and that simpleness is the beauty really for me. And so yeah, I've been racking my brains around a name, like what will I call it, and I had, you know, I've got this word bank of all the words that it kind of meant to me, the work meant to me, and wrote them all down, and I was like wild nature connection, and you know, I was getting all these things together. Anyway, yesterday I spoke to my dad, and and when I told him something, he was like and his reaction was like really disappointing to me. I was like, well, okay, I don't need validation, it's okay. And then we carried on talking, and actually I was like, well, what inspires me about nature? And then I began to write down real words that actually meant something to me, and I was able to kind of connect to them. And what came to me was like animals and creatures and stuff like that. So I've settled on a name which I'm just super happy about, and I'm going to share it right now. It's called Buzzards and Worms, which I just really love. I hope I'm not boring anyone with I'm just checking your faces, like, okay, I'm not boring. So I absolutely love worms. I'm a bit worm obsessed with like composting and stuff. And one of the things I would really love to do is to go into schools and share about composting and setting up stuff in schools and classrooms and stuff. Again, I don't know why, I just haven't had the bravery to just go out and contact schools and say, oh, let's learn about worms. And so the worms kind of are important, and buzzards has just got another personal connection for me. And I thought about like the buzzards being high up in the sky, you know, they're up there, and the worm, and seeing a buzzard is like, wow. Well, for me it's like, wow, and you can hear the noise, and I can connect. And then the worm is so small in the earth, like the smallest, not the smallest, but very small, and to some maybe insignificant, maybe missed. And actually the work that I think happens with forest school and nature connection is earth, sky, and all that is in between. And so so yesterday that kind of happened, and then this morning I was like, woke up and thought that sounds and feels really right. So yes, that's kind of there's lots of kind of other ideas in there about what I would like to do with adults and children, but it's just kind of being birthed right now. So yeah, thanks for listening. I hope I didn't bore. I'm checking I didn't bore you. Okay, I'm done. Thank you.
Thanks, lovely. That was so cool. How exciting.
Can I just jump in? We've just got
go
a
for
coffee
it.
and I've got to take him outside. But
Okay.
I'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Okay.
That's why I kept looking down the side. He was moving. I was like,
Oh, that's so exciting, Shona. That's such a cool name. Yes.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome. Yeah, and I just totally hear you, what you're saying about it's difficult when you don't receive that validation or even understanding, you know, or even curiosity around what you're doing or what you're thinking or what your plans are. And yeah, so I really hear you there, and I love that what you're saying about the validation pot, filling your validation pot up for yourself, and yeah, doing that for us, and we can do that for each other. I love that so much. Thank you. Thank you. So excited.
What is it about names? It's so interesting, isn't it? And like the creative process of putting things out there is so difficult. I had vegan dessert company, which is the first thing that I ever did myself. And every tiny little step was so difficult. And like I'd come up with like this name and this logo, and I showed it to like 3 of my friends that I thought were like, you know, I can trust them. And 2 of them were like, oh, I don't like it. And suddenly I was like, oh my God, like, you know, and it was really difficult to then go ahead with this thing that I'd chosen, going against what they were saying and that kind of stuff. And suddenly it was just like, I think that's one of those lessons with these sorts of things, is really knowing who you can take stuff to when it's still a tiny little thing. Because I think we do need validation. We do need someone to go, yeah, I like it. As much as, you know, like you say, it's really important to have it within ourselves and to be really grounded and know that that's exactly what we want to do. But yeah, when things are so small, I think it's like it needs all of the nourishment that it can get for it to grow. So I totally hear you. And I think it's a great name. I did notice that you said as well, and I don't know this, but you said in between buzzards and worms, or between buzzards and worms or something. And I was like, oh, that's really cool as well. Anyway, just so yeah, but that's the thing, isn't it? Things mean things to us, and that's why they're so difficult to put out there, because you know, I know it's difficult for artists. We sort of appreciate that maybe artists it's difficult, and people that are creating things, because there's actually like this object and it's part of you that you're giving out there. But business is exactly that, and whether it is a name, a logo, what you're going to do, like all of these things are ideas that we are creating and literally birthing into the world, and that is hugely vulnerable. So I think yeah, there's kind of an acceptance and an understanding about that we need to sort of be really gentle with ourselves during this whole process, because it's massive. And but this yeah, again, all of what you've been saying, they're just wonderful ideas, and this as well. I just think so excited for the journey.
Awesome, thank you. James, did you want to tell us about yourself?
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for being vulnerable, in a word. It's something I've always struggled with too, and I've been recently discovering how hard it is to talk about things that maybe you don't, that's puppy, maybe you don't know all the answers about. And maybe it's not quite all there yet. So my project began as Open Firesides, has transformed to Dream Co-Creators, because I came back to the UK after volunteering with a 2-2 from uni, which got me nowhere, so I went into fast food. And the biggest dream I ever had was to go to a place like that. And I went there in October last year. So I just kept looking at short advert videos of make your mess your message, and what are you the expert in? I was like, well, do you know what? Actually, I went from fast food to going there. And yeah, it took me 4 years, but if I could give people what I learned along the way, it might take them 2 years, realistically. It's quite a lot of money, but I could probably do it. I probably have learned enough about drawing out the emotional why people want to do something or be somewhere, and translating that through behaviors and actions and thoughts, to be able to help. I might not be the best of the best, but someone said the other day, most people aren't looking for the best of the best. They're looking for somebody who wants to help them out. And I would happily be that guy. So I resonated with everything Teresa was saying, that when you don't have money, there isn't a lot out there that's easily, you can't, unless you know, like if you know that people doing courses in virtually any kind of therapy need case studies, and you can hang around, I don't know, the university group or whatever and pounce on them when they come out saying, I need a case study. If you don't know that sort of thing, it's not there. It might as well not exist. So yeah, definitely resonating with that. And so it came from Dream Co-Creators, generic, and then a bit of nailing your niche through these courses turned into that, for which I think pain points would be time, money, and belief and knowledge. But knowledge isn't really a visible pain point because you don't know what you don't know. So time, I thought, well, make it 15 minutes. An awful lot of calls, an awful lot of the best magic happens in about 2 minutes. So filter it down. Then I looked for that, and there's loads of stuff on 15-minute coaching calls. It's like, fine, okay, awesome, that's possible. And money, well, if you're only charging them for 15 minutes, it doesn't have to cost the earth either. So yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at. It's still called Dream Co-Creators because I bought 2 URLs. But strapline might be something like from fast food to retreat, or from fast food to something. I don't know. Bring it down to earth. But yeah, simple as well. Resonated. Because I've been pulling all the different resources into a massive Excel spreadsheet. And I didn't realize until I scrolled up how long it is. And there are many different tabs as well. It's like, oh, okay, maybe I do know some useful stuff. So someone said about finding groups to get in front of the right people. And my brain doesn't. It kind of remembers things-ish in conversations. That's why I was scribbling stuff down towards halfway. Because I don't then afterwards, basically none of it existed. It just, I assimilate whatever went in, and what didn't go in is totally gone forever. So yeah, someone mentioned getting in front of groups, and I began to do that. Just joined a few I hate my job fast food type groups where there are thousands of members, just to see what they say. So that if I ever do, no, when I put an ad out, I can relate to current things in fast food because I know what I went through. So that might help. But yeah, I feel a definite need to test myself without being in front of a vast audience and suddenly going, hi everyone, I exist, give me a call. And then like I get 100 people book in, and I'm like, after the first one, I can't do this. Everyone go home. So that's where I am. Thank you.
Thanks, James. Yeah, it's so interesting to hear. Yeah, I've never really heard you talk about it in such detail before. So it's really good to hear what's your process has been and what's going on. So thank you so much for sharing. And yeah, and that's something that I think would be, if everybody would be up for it, maybe we could, like Shona and Kate and Teresa as well, and you, James, maybe we can sort of trial things and pilot things with each other if that feels helpful to take that next step of, yeah, just putting it out there in a group that is safe, and you know, we'll give kind of yeah, positive feedback, and also kind of just being open to whatever arises for people, because it could be a different experience for each of us, and I think that's a really rich experience. Just to be vulnerable in a really safe space, I think is awesome. So that's a really interesting point. Thanks, James. It feels maybe we can just develop that and see what happens, but I would love to kind of be a guinea pig for each and every one of you. So awesome.
Nice. Can I just say, thanks for sharing that, James, because I hadn't heard kind of your motivation and, you know, why you're doing things and what you wanted to do. So it's really awesome to hear your full story. After the puppy.
No pup.
Listen. But Amy, I totally agree with what you're saying. The sometimes having a bit of a reason to put things together is really useful, isn't it? You know, so encouraging people, that's all. To I know that when we did the New Year True You event and you're like, will you speak? And I'm like, yeah. Really didn't want to, but knew that it was such a good opportunity to kind of put these things together. So and that again felt like a really nice safe space to do it. A little bit too large to but it was really good. So I think it's a really positive thing. So I like that idea, and we can incorporate that in at some point. So
awesome.
Cool beans, guys.
I'm just a little bit of aware of the time. Sorry, Trina, did you want to say something? Oh, you're muted. You're on mute.
Hello, sorry. Yeah, I just wanted to check really that I mean, I'm just gonna say it out there. I know there's some connections with where I work in this group as well, kind of ish, and I guess I just want to check that things are kind of kept confidential within the group. That would just, I know I probably don't even need to say it, but the fact that I just say it is now off my shoulders. So if that's okay, that would be really great.
Yeah, absolutely, Shona. And that is something that I was meaning to say. Yeah, absolutely confidential, because I've just remembered as well that Rachel sent me a Rachel sent me a little blurb, because she couldn't be with us today, but she wants to be part of the group. And obviously she mentioned about confidentiality as well, because connections with her work as well. So absolutely confidential, and obviously the recordings and everything. I'm only going to send this recording to Rachel, and if you did want the recording, just let me know, and just make sure that it's safe. And what is it that Julia says? Share the fruits but not the branches, or something. It's like sharing in what's the word, anonymously, is that right? So it's just sharing the fruits of like, oh yeah, so we did this thing, and I got some really good insights from this, but not sharing specifics of names and where people live and where they work. Cool. I'm just going to read out thanks for bringing that up, Shona. It's important for sure. Right, I'm just going to read Rachel's blurb. Can everyone hear me okay? Cool. I might just see, I've got it, found it. Really cool. And it's just there's so much that we can there's so much to explore and support each other through. I guess I'm just kind of wondering now what maybe you could send us, or you could say now, depending on if you need to rush off or anything, perhaps what you need, what would be helpful, how that would look. Because we spoke about, initially we spoke about doing like a bi-month, two meetups a month, so every other week, just for like an hour and a half or something like that, just to kind of check in and share and support each other. Or there's lots of different ways that we can do it, and we can have a Facebook group, or we could have a Messenger group. I know there's lots of groups happening and everyone's kind of involved in a lot of things, so just important not to get overwhelmed. Does that make sense? So just kind of letting us know what would be helpful for you, what you would need, what perhaps if there's like a theme that we should have every time that we meet up, or just a general check-in, etc. So if you want to have a think about it, or if something's sort of pinged for you right now while I'm saying that, do feel free to say so. But it could, again, just let us know in a couple of days if something comes and you're inspired.
Tell us, peeps.
So I'm just thinking now that for me, I've been really careful about what kind of groups I'm kind of in on Facebook and on WhatsApp. And saying that, I feel, because this is quite a small group and it feels very personal now of seeing and hearing everyone, I personally wouldn't mind being in a WhatsApp group or something, so that we can kind of share support, really. And I'm just thinking about that is the love pot, like that is the kind of place where we can just drop in and kind of send support, or maybe share where we're at, or whatever feels necessary. I'd be happy to do that. And yeah, I'm not sure on how often the meet. You said about every 2 weeks, right? Every 2 weeks. I don't know if that, at the moment I'm feeling like that might feel too much for me. Maybe be better, but that's just what's coming right now, and I'll sit with it.
Cool. Thank you, Shona.
And there are lots of, thank you so much for that, Shona. There are lots of possibilities as well, because this is obviously very new. Amy and I are setting up, so we ourselves weren't sure about what it should look like, so that's why we wanted to check in with you guys and see what you had the space for. So like you say, if it is that you find you get more out of sort of speaking with other people in a group and getting lots of different perspectives, or if you sort of one group a month, and then we could possibly do some one-to-one sort of coaching or phone calls, or so yeah, really do have a think about what you think would be best for you. We can't guarantee that we'll be able to do it, but at least we can put everybody's ideas together and hopefully come up with something that works mostly for most people. So yeah.
Can I just say, so already a few ideas have come up that as suggestions for other people to support. So I do think something like a WhatsApp group or a Facebook group or something would be quite helpful for when we have those suddenly, oh, that could help that person out, or like, so, because if I'm terrible for, like, I'll think about it, and then if I don't do it right away, then I will forget to do it, and I'll forget what that link was, and so something like that would be really helpful for me to show support to others.
Great.
And then on the flip side, I think I do agree with what Shona said about every 2 weeks feels like a lot for me because of where I'm at in the thing, like it's quite new. However, I also think it could be good for me because it'll, what's the word you say, like oh no, I can't think of the word. It's like when I did the coaching with you, Robin, about being
accountability.
Accountability, yeah. So it'll actually keep me motivated, because I'm really bad at self-motivating. So in some ways that will help me to at least have something to bring. Something for myself, like, so there is an element of that. So it's kind of, I suppose I'm sitting with it as well, Shona, because I'm unsure whether it'll be too much stress or just the right amount of stress to get me to get my heart into gear. You know what I mean? So yeah, so there's a few things. So there are my thoughts so far.
Thank you, Kate. And again, you don't have to decide that now. I think it's really important to, like, live the question for a bit and just let it sort of be there. And then I feel like, you don't have to make a decision now. And thank you for saying that, because I think it's yeah, it just totally resonates with me. I think is that, and that's what I find overwhelming with like the other kind of courses that I've done before. It's like this like accountability, I'm watching you, are you doing it? It's like not that. It's like not that kind of accountability. It's like, okay, just where you're at. And it's, yeah, I just want it to be, make sure that it's like a shame-free experience and there's no pressure. This is supportive, and if you have a week where you're like, actually I wasn't feeling it and I haven't even thought about it, that's fine. You know, so just kind of yeah, thank you for bringing that up. And again, just take some time to think about it. We don't have to rush into anything straight away. This is going to be co-created, and it's, and again, it's like, I just want to be clear. I mean, I hope you all know this anyway, but me and Bin aren't here as like experts of this. We're here as a peer. It's like a peer support group. Like, we're all this together. You know, I have my own stuff that perhaps I'll maybe share another time. But yeah, it's just, we're all in this together. So there's no kind of like yeah, need to feel, hopefully, no need to feel stressed out at any point. But yeah, it's a really good insight. Thank you.
Teresa.
Yeah, so just,
I
oh,
was just
Teresa.
going to say, I totally want Amy and Rob, I think it's just as important for you to share your things that, you know, I don't want you to feel because you're facilitating it that it's all about everyone else. It's just as much about you. I think that's really important, you know, for us to say.
Thanks, Teresa.
You're offering that to us, but, you know, just offering it is a massive gift, you know. So what I'm trying to say is my expectation isn't from you, and what, you know, it's about what we do, what we set ourselves. And
yeah,
I mean, I'm so grateful that you are offering this and facilitating this, but it is just as much about you. I think that's just what I'm trying to say.
thanks, Teresa.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks, Teresa. And I think as well, like, that's what me and Amy believe makes these kind of spaces actually workable and functionable, and, you know, is when we're not sitting there as facilitators because we've got all our shit together, because that's a lie. And so, you know, when we sit in circle with everybody, and, you know, we learn just as much as you guys do. So yes, we might be offering the platform, but, you know, that's kind of it, really. We're there with you, learning just as much as you guys are. So, and also I just wanted to say as well about like the structure and that kind of stuff, is everything is flexible right now. I mean, it's flexible anyway, but, you know, with everything that's going on is a little bit crazy. But so if we do make a decision like, yeah, we're going to have a WhatsApp group, but that doesn't work for any of us, then we can change. If we decide to meet twice a month, but everyone's like, that's way too much for me. Or if we decide to meet twice a month and half the people are like, I can't do it, but the other half can, you know, it really is, please think about it as something, like Amy was saying, that works for you and with you, rather than something else that you've got to put on your to-do list and you've got to feel bad about not doing and all that kind of stuff, you know. Hopefully it really is going to be something that helps and supports rather than drains you, really. And we're really flexible, so just let us know what you need. And again, that's part of it, isn't it, is sort of practicing the self-responsibility, but also the asking and the paying attention to what you do need, because like Amy was saying, these things don't kind of magically happen. They come from people that, you know, it is all about you. And when you're in a good place and you have the motivation and the inspiration, these things do happen a lot easier. And so that's kind of what we're about, is supporting you to do the things that you do best. I'm gonna stop talking.
Yes. Thanks, Robin. Yeah, I guess I'm just aware of the time as well. But what I will do is, if everyone's happy so far, I will set up a WhatsApp group, and if it becomes too much, you know, feel free to leave, or we can change format. And in that WhatsApp group, I will make a little video and just share. Maybe you can do the same, Robin. Just make a little video about perhaps what our plans or ideas or seeds are. Because yeah, I'm just aware of the time. I sort of said to people it was about an hour and a quarter, so don't want to keep people for too long. So yes, Kate.
I was just going to ask, clear me. I love that idea of seeing the videos of you guys as well, but I was wondering about like if we could all do almost like a bullet point to refer back to, because then if we do like I was saying, like because I've got a few ideas that I could share with some people, then you know, then if we bullet point, I'll go, oh, okay, that was that person. Like James was saying, I don't remember precisely, so that would be quite handy because then we can connect the dots, if that makes sense.
Great. Awesome. Fantastic. Awesomeness.
Can I also say, I think I just said it before, but again, I think WhatsApp groups can be mega intense sometimes, can't they? And so if at any point you don't have the space for that, don't give yourself a hard time about it. You know, if you can't check into it for a week, that's completely fine. And then when you do come back, just let us know, you know. So yeah, there is no pressure at all. I'm done.
Yes. Peace. Yeah, awesome. Let's just take a moment just to just having a nice little wiggle of your shoulders and just closing your eyes and maybe putting your hands on your heart and just taking a few breaths with everything that's been said and shared, and this vulnerability sometimes, and just taking in everyone's kind of feeling everyone's support and love, and just feeling into your passion and what's in your heart and all the things that are going to flourish. And gently we'll just come back into the room together. And yeah, it was so lovely to see you all and hear you all and hear what's all the plans and things that are starting to sprout. It's so cool. So cool. And yeah, I will make a WhatsApp group and hopefully see you all very soon.
Thank you, everyone.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Take care. Big love.
Good luck, everyone.
Bye.
See you again soon.
Oh, I'll stop recording now.